Am I the only person in this discussion who thinks it's slightly sinister? Kind of state interference into people's absolute private choices in how much they drink. People who can't work because they're overweight. Well, if you don't have these injections, Mr. Smith, I'm afraid you're not getting it back.
£300 million to basically turn unemployed people into lab rats.
So at the moment, there seems to be a lot of competing stories for this one particular story in terms of the details. And that is that it's a drug called Kier under the trade name of Mounjaro from the huge pharmaceutical company called Lilly, who are investing $279 million into the rollout. So if you look at the papers, the Express is saying it's 250,000 people over a 3-year trial. The Mail have gone for 3,000 people over 5 years. Seems to be echoed in a few places. And The Sun reported a few days ago that millions of obese people could be on this drug shortly as they are holding back the economy. Let's take a look.
Labour government by Health Secretary West Streeting to sort of mass medicate millions of people who are unemployed, or hundreds of thousands, probably millions, who he seems to think that the reason they're unemployed is they're fat. So give them a fat jab, Ozempic or Wegovy or whatever the British equivalent is. They lose a bit of weight and according to West, they'll go back to work.
So some of the opinions in this short video were a little bit alarmist. As far as we know, the trial is based on 3,000 people over 5 years, so that will actually be longer than the current period of Parliament for the Labour government that's just got in. So, looking into the future, that will limit its take-up. And I think you'll find those sort of numbers is quite common for a pharmaceutical test. So nothing really out of the ordinary there. They wouldn't give it to millions of people generally straight away because of the side effects, and they know there will be some. And you don't want millions of people to have side effects. You want it to be a small group that you can actually treat and keep control of, and then understand.
It doesn't really follow, does it?
No, all they're going to have, if they've got fat unemployed people, they'll end up with skinny unemployed people. That's about it as far as I can see. Yeah. And in the meantime, we would have spent a fortune and we would have risked their health with the numerous side effects that we know about, and there are many that we won't know about yet because we have no long-term data on this.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So there might be side effects we don't know about.
Of course there will be.
Why are they giving it to millions of people?
So again, I can't see anywhere where it says they're actually going to give it to millions of people yet. I've already said that 3,000 people was a test. You find out what the side effects are when you do the tests. That's what all of the clinical trials are. And there's generally quite a few of them before anyone gets the chance to issue this out en masse. As far as Mounjaro goes, I think the way they're looking at it at the moment, it'd be a self-administered pen injection, like some of the kind of epinephrine that some allergic people that could suffer anaphylaxis would carry around. And indeed, it's already used by a lot of people with type 2 diabetes. So some people watching this video could actually be using these pens in that way. And the main things it seems to do is suppress appetite. It controls hormone release after eating to make you feel fuller, so you'll eat less. And it regulates the metabolism, sort of controlling energy balance as well. And these things will help you to reduce your weight overall, as part of other things like healthy sort of lifestyle or trying to increase your healthy lifestyle.
We talked about an obesity epidemic. We're also talking about a worklessness epidemic, but are those two epidemics linked?
Yes, and the government is suggesting that it is, and they've announced this deal with Lilly, £280 million of investment. Lilly's one of the world's largest pharmaceutical businesses. Will look at different types of medicines in this sector. So it won't be Wegovy and it won't be Ozempic. So this trial is going to look at a new drug called Tirzepatide, which is sold under the brand name Mounjaro.
Jabs for jobs. I mean, weight loss injections to get unemployed, obese people thin enough to go back to work. It all sounds a bit sinister to me, slightly, a bit dystopian.
So it looks like Richard's pushing a few buttons here. Jabs for jobs. There's no evidence at the moment that this is going to come into play. I think the 3,000 people that they have mentioned that are going to be on the trial are going to be volunteers. That's generally the way things go. You have to sign up and volunteer for it. And then you would imagine, unless this dystopian future that Richard mentioned comes true, that people would then volunteer because they've got health issues or weight issues to go onto the drug to try and better their situation. There are a lot of side effects. I mean, one of them that one commentator mentioned was that you lose half your muscle mass at the same time as you lose the fat, that kind of thing. Obviously, you would have to weigh that one up with general health, because you couldn't give that to anyone who's a bit older, for instance. All these sorts of things to consider. But I don't think there's anything sinister that we can tell at the moment, at least.